We were here on November 20th and a few days thereafter, as well as a few months thereafter, and here we are in the middle of the summer, and I want to really praise all the people of Tazewell County and here in the city of Washington, and we have other sites across Illinois. I'm going to be in Gifford today, and we also have helped Brookport and New Minden and Diamond and other communities that were hard hit by unprecedented tornadoes in the month of November. And we know, especially here, how severe the damage was. We thank God and ask Him to bless the immortal souls of those who lost their lives during these tornadoes. It's important we never forget them. They were very special people. I think it's also important that we honor all of the volunteers that came forward from everywhere. I can, just driving up here today along the side of the road, I can remember last November, cars as far as the eye could see. People who came from all across Illinois and outside of Illinois to help their neighbor recover from these very devastating storms. We have to honor the fact that nature is something that we always respect. I think it's important that we understand that natural disasters, when they occur, it's all of us together. We just put everything down. We don't play politics. We come together for the common good. And I do want to thank the people of the city of Washington who inspired all of us in Illinois with their commitment, with their strength, with their ability to help each other. I think it's an inspiration for this year and for every year as long as we're on this earth. And I think also our members of the legislature saw things that needed to be improved in our law. And I think it's important that we today sign 2 of those laws. I'm going to be over in Gifford to sign the other 3rd law of the day. But 3 important statutes that are going to become law today that are designed not only to help folks who battle these terrible storms, but also in the future that we're prepared. We've had over the last 5 years 11 natural disasters of serious proportion in our state. We have had many problems with weather, but we understand that we come together and band together for the common good of the people. And so I do want to thank all of those who have been part of this mission. These 3 laws today, one of them deals with the importance of helping those who want to contribute to the disaster recovery through the American Red Cross. And I want to personally thank my good friend, Comptroller Judy Bard-Topinka. Her office, the Comptroller's office, works on this issue and make sure that a bill got passed that gives the people of Illinois an efficient and direct way to make a contribution to the American Red Cross, as was here in Washington and was here all over Illinois, helping right after the tornadoes and other natural disasters as well. So it's important that we have that law signed. I want to thank Senator Brady for his sponsoring the statute, as well as Representative Chad Hayes over in Gifford. I'm going to see him later. He was the, I think, sponsor in the House. We also have another bill that deals with the insurance issues that come out of any natural disaster. There are those who are called adjusters, and they do work representing those who are insured, but we want to make sure that the commission or salary that they get is not above what's reasonable. So there's a limit of 10% on whatever fee they can charge. That's another bill that we're going to sign. And then there's a 3rd bill that deals with the property tax implications of rebuilding. We're here, and we're at a place where, you know, not long ago, it was all rubble. And it's amazing what human beings can do when they come together, take on a terrible storm, help everybody get back on their feet, and then the process of recovery takes place. And new buildings are built, and it's important that our businesses are not hit with enormous property tax bills right from the very beginning of their recovery. So the bill that I'm signing over in Gifford deals with the opportunity over a 15-year period to phase in any kind of property tax assessment. So I think that's only fair. We want to make sure that everyone has that reasonable period of time to get back on their feet and get their business recharged. So that's what it's all about. I want to personally thank Gary Manier. He's been a real I think, municipal leader that's inspired all of us in Illinois over and over again. The people of Washington, whether it's at the football game or whether it's coming together with the Blackhawks, they come together because of the opportunity of the community to work together. You got to have leadership that puts everybody on the same team. That's what Gary Menier has done. I really, really enjoy working with him. We had to, as you know, appeal to the federal government for municipal help here. We got help for our businesses as well as our individual families, our residential, from the federal disaster relief. But the formula that's used over in Washington, D.C. is not really fair to a big state like ours with urban areas. And we didn't get the municipal relief from the federal government that we thought we are entitled to. Well, Senator Durbin and Senator Kirk are sponsoring legislation to change that formula in Washington. We couldn't wait for that. We decided as a state to come together and use our state resources to help the city of Washington and all the other communities, many of them here, whether in Tazewell County itself or in Pekin or nearby towns as well, to make sure that those municipalities that had to clean up the debris, that had to use overtime in order to make sure we got back on our feet and had our hope going forward. So it was really important for our state to come forward. I want to say that we've been able to allocate, I think, $7.7 million just to the city of Washington, with hopefully more to come to help in the recovery effort. But Gary Menier has been the Rock of Gibraltar, and I want to thank personally Gary Menier for his leadership, Mayor Menier. And without further ado, Gary, why don't you come forward and say a few words?
Thank you so much. I don't know if he's counting, but this is the 6th time the governor's been on our soil here in Washington, Illinois. Committed on the 18th, the morning after, when he first drove through what we called the zone. He made a commitment then, stood behind it, actually appealed the FEMA early decision, and he understands it, he gets it. I cannot say enough the love for Central Illinois that Governor Quinn has and the respect that we all have for him. I think we knew before, but when he spoke at the luncheon prior to Thanksgiving, very heartfelt. You could tell after witnessing what he had witnessed, the emotion in his speech. And I can't thank you enough, Governor, for coming once again. And he is living up to his word. When he stood just a little bit to the south here at a press conference, a very, very cold day, nicer day today, thank God. But he made a commitment to help not only Washington, but East Peoria and Pekin. And we thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And God bless you, Governor, and God bless Washington.
All right, well said there, Gary. Thank you for your leadership. I remember November 20th, the day after, we were in the same car, and I got a call from the President of the United States, and I spoke to President Obama about how important it is that we come together and work together with the federal government. And Gary was in the car, so I handed my cell phone to Gary, and he outlined very specifically for the president what needed to be done, and I think he did a real good job. That's a good way to go. The mayor of Washington, Illinois, calls a president of the United States in Washington, D.C., then that's getting action. And someone who is a person of action, I've known her, I think you helped Noah build a boat, didn't you, Judy, a long time ago? Yeah, quite a while ago, but she is a builder. She is somebody who cares about everyday people, and she really came up with a great idea with this Illinois Gives, a way through the check-off, the opportunity the Comptroller's Office has that people can, if you're a state employee or if you're a retiree, give a donation to the Red Cross to help in the recovery in a natural disaster. So without further ado, our Comptroller, Judy Bartopinka. Take it
very
from there,
good,
Judy.
very good. I get kisses.
All right.
There you go. Well, I really appreciate you having me here today. We did feel, because Illinois is a charitable state, our people help each other. Sometimes we'll get criticism for this, that, and the next thing. But the point is, our people do help. And state employees want to help. But, you know, we wanted to make sure that we had an orderly process so no one could challenge where the money was going, and what better place to have it go than the American Red Cross, because that's what you really need at a time of disaster. As the governor said, I wanted to send a thanks to my longtime colleague in the Senate, where we served together, Senator Bill Brady, a stellar human being who was our Senate sponsor. Also to Representative Chad Hayes for his House sponsorship. You know, you have to have that. People think somehow these things just happen. No, you have to have the folks in the legislature who are going to push this and make it happen. And I also want to recognize the fact that we have with us here today State Representative Mike Eunice, and we've got Representative Keith Summer here. And the fact that you showed up, I think that's just a sign of, you know, we're all in this together, totally bipartisanly. Hey, Washington, the one over there on the East Coast, watch what we do. Maybe we could give you a hint, okay? This as another opportunity to give. So we've been working very hard to get the technology in place. So if, I'm crossing my fingers on this, the next natural disaster hits our state workers will be immediately empowered to give to the Red Cross and the regions that are affected. So Illinois gives, it's from the heart, and I think it says a lot for our state employees. You know, sometimes they take a drubbing. They don't have it coming. They work very, very hard, and they care. And this, I think, will be a sign of that caring. Thank you so much, Governor. It's always a delight.
Very well said. Thank you. Thank you, Judy. Really, thank you, Comptroller Topinka, for coming up with this idea. I think it's a very good one, to use technology and 21st century opportunities to give people a chance to help when they really need it. Matter of fact, next week I'm going to Washington for a national conference on climate preparedness, so we always do have to be ready. And someone who was here the day after the tornado, who's been with us every step of the way, who sponsored the legislation we just heard about, who is the state senator for this area, but someone who really has Illinois to heart, and that's our State Senator Bill Brady.
Yo.
Take it from there, Bill.
Go for it, William.
Yeah.
Governor, thank you very much for being here. As the mayor said, you've been here 6 times, and we appreciate the support that you've given us. Jonathan Munkin, who's here with us today, has been at the forefront of working with the city of Washington. This was a devastating, tragic event. Thankfully, though, out of tragic events, we have the resources to help, but we don't settle with the status quo. These 3 pieces of legislation are a result of looking at the status quo and the events that took place and what we can do to make Illinois a better state. And the people of Illinois worked hard to do that. My legislative colleagues here, and we're not done with this. Representative Eunice, Representative Summer, and my friend Senator Kaler are working with Jonathan Munkin on more legislation that will allow immediate resources to be used to rebuild communities like this where there's loss of revenues and need.
As you can see, we had a lot of folks helping out here. I can remember Robbie Gould coming, and from the Bears, and the Blackhawks helping, and all the other sports teams. It really was a family effort by the family of Illinois. But someone who has to coordinate this, who answered the call to duty some years ago. He went to West Point. He graduated top of his class there, went to Iraq, was a tank commander in Iraq. I think he had 150 tank missions, didn't lose one piece of equipment nor one soldier. He's our director of emergency management agency in Illinois, who was a coordinator of making sure we were on the job all the time, getting the job done, and that's John Munkin. So come on forward, John, say a few words.
There you go, John.
All right, buddy.
There you go. Good enough. Good enough.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here. And I think it really speaks volumes to the folks that are behind me right now that are here in a unified front to make sure that we continue to invest in the future and recovery of communities like Washington and communities all over the state. As was alluded to earlier and discussed very accurately, this was a tragedy. It was a significant event, but really the resilience of the community can be seen just in the construction that's happening behind us right now. I had an opportunity to go through the area and through the communities and look at it, and it's really breathtaking to see how much is being done. But it's not very surprising, seeing the resilience of the people that were here, the determination that was on the faces of everyone that was involved. I have to give a lot of credit to all of the local first responders responders that were here right away when it happened, immediately helping out people everywhere around these communities when they needed it most. And watching this recovery happen, talking to the city administrator, Tim Gleason, earlier, there were 1,108 homes and properties that were impacted in this community alone on November 17th. There are over 700 permits that have already been filed and approved for reconstruction in this community. That, folks, is an amazing number, and it shows what the people of this community are really capable of. So we're here to continue that effort. Governor Quinn put forth the most robust state assistance package that has ever been put together in the state of Illinois to help communities after a disaster. And great credit is really due to the governor to bring the staff together and say, we have to find a way to fill the gap that was created by the federal government when they weren't capable of providing assistance, and we have to find a way to make that happen. And that's exactly what we're doing. So all the paperwork was signed, the warrants were signed by the Comptroller's Office on July 3rd, which really freed up the funds from IEMA to 24 applicants around the state to provide millions in assistance to communities just like Washington to make sure that those bills that were incurred for debris removal, emergency protective measures, all those steps that were taken immediately following and continue on today can help with that reimbursement process to make sure that not only are the structures whole, but really financially sound for the community going forward. So great credit to the locals and all the effort that they put forth to get us this far today, and we will be here to continue to make sure that we can get this community back on its feet. Thank you, sir.
Very
Well said.
good.
Thank you. Well
Very
done there,
good.
John.
And I get the first one. Yo, thank you. Okay, here. Go good.
Yeah, you're going to hand
Mr.
out the
Mayor.
pens.
Yep,
okay?
yep, I'm handing out. It's good.
Family of Illinois.
Very
Come
good.
on close.
Very
And,
good. Let's
we
all
are
gather,
proud
family.
to get these two bills passed.